All right, I'm gonna say all the important things before Danny sits down.
Okay, how's my hair look? How are my nails?
Hey everyone, it's been nearly a year since our last post.
9 months.
And that's because we're super lazy people. Actually, we've been really busy, but we hit these milestones and then life just keeps us busy and we don't get a chance to sort of collect our thoughts and put it in a post. But it's Thanksgiving weekend and what a great time to reflect. So, time for an update. Last time we talked was February and I was in the depths of prednisone. I was
Which is the steroid.
the steroid that I was taking to prevent my lungs from scarring up. My lungs were having a reaction, probably triggered by viral pneumonia and one of the chemotherapy drugs I was taking. That's at least the best guess. So I was put on a long regimen of prednisone to try and prevent scarring. And the side effects of prednisone are lengthy and they all suck. And I experienced most of them. Oh, getting fatter every day.
You see it in my face.
So last time you saw me, I was 230 pounds and I was having issues with ulcers and acne and my hair was thinning and my feet were so swollen that I had to get parts of my toenails cut out because they were getting infected.
Forgot about that.
And what else?
Your sleep? Did you say your sleep?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep. I was sleeping about an hour and a half, in hour and a half blocks, about 2 or 3 of those a night, which was throwing my whole world into chaos. And I had an awesome tremor, and yeah, it generally sucked. But I tapered off of prednisone, and in May, I got to stop, and it was fantastic. It took a long time for the weight to start coming off, but you know, I'm in my mid-30s, and I guess that's a function of age.
Good morning, baby.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
I'm super tired. My face is all swollen.
Yeah, how are your eyes doing?
I
Yeah.
feel super heavy.
Yeah, you're not really able to open them much.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's from. Just all the water weight going to your head when you lay down as opposed to your feet when you're standing up during the day.
Oh.
You don't have any doctor's appointments this week, huh?
No.
You had blood labs yesterday.
Yeah, for doctor's appointments, it would make the week untenable. I just couldn't do it. I don't have 2 hours to spare anywhere.
When's your next doctor's appointment?
On Monday.
And you dropped down to 10 milligrams
10 milligrams yesterday, so that's good.
of the steroids, so...
Yeah, so hopefully my face doesn't feel like this for very much longer. Oh, tired of being fat.
Love you.
Love you.
So, after I stopped prednisone, a couple months later, I was able to stop tacrolimus, which is the immunosuppressant drug. And then in August, I was able to stop just about every drug I was on, which was great because at the peak of my drug taking, I was on $9,000 a month worth of medications. And those aren't even cancer drugs. Those are just prophylactic drugs to keep me from getting sick. So you can imagine how happy our health insurance company was about that. So in August, I got off of all my meds and everything was going well. And then in October, I picked up a bug. I actually picked up a couple of bugs, but my health just totally crashed. On Tuesday, I was feeling run down, went home from work early, and by Wednesday, my mouth was completely filled with kind of like canker sores, and I couldn't eat or drink anything, and I had a really high fever, and I went to the emergency room and was checked into the hospital. It took 8 days for them to release me from the hospital, and a big part of that was 5 or 6 days of just being unable to eat and having a really high fever. Got subjected to the whole battery of tests, and they were all, for the most part, inconclusive, but All the doctors working together, looking at some of my scans and some of my labs, they figured the pattern was most likely based on viral pneumonia.
Well, they thought it was GVHD of the lungs, and then it was, okay, it's probably not that, it's probably a bacterial pneumonia, and then it was probably a viral pneumonia, and then there was also the unknown virus, you know, whatever was causing the mouth sores and everything else. So it was an unknown virus coupled with some sort of pneumonia.
And the ear, nose, and throat doctor said it was 3 different kinds of mouth sores. So yeah, it was a pretty terrible week.
One of them was stress-induced. The other one was probably viral.
Yeah.
Right, and then
Another one looked different.
yeah.
So one of the difficult things in this whole process is that a lot of times there's no clear diagnosis because they have to start us on drugs so quickly and so many drugs. It tends to mask whatever the true infection was. The concerns about my health and the fragility of my immune system override any desire to get a clear diagnosis. So I get started on lots of drugs right away, and that tends to skew the lab cultures that try and grow the different bugs and figure out what my diagnosis is. So 8 days in the hospital, another 2 weeks of bed rest, and I lost 20 pounds. It's a very sobering experience. It's scary. I was terrified that it was a relapse because my fevers were high and I was so sick, and I hadn't been sick in 16 months. So I just didn't have any barometer to say, oh, this is just a cold, or this is pneumonia, or is this cancer? And it really took a couple of days before my doctors could say, oh, it's not cancer, but it really takes a couple of days before I'm reading their cue that they're not concerned about cancer at all. They're just concerned about an infection. And that was how I sort of gauged what was really happening.
When you were sick in the hospital, what I thought were, you know, my incessant allergies started to be like, is this allergies or am I getting sick? Dr. Rita Walt sent me right home. And
you handled it well.
I handled it well. Had a complete mental breakdown. And had to go to urgent care and get a nose swab to test to see if I had a cold or if it was just allergies before I could come back to the hospital. So I wasn't allowed to see you. So we had to FaceTime while you were in the hospital. And yeah, that was challenging, to say the least.
Yeah.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you. I missed you.
Miss you too, baby. Welcome to my home. You got a lot of things in your hand.
I'm excited for date night.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put my stuff down on my bed. Put my hand sanitizer on. So good to see you
So good to see you too.
in person.
We haven't been apart for any moment of my sickness or treatment or recovery.
Thank you.
Thanks for ordering me breakfast, baby.
You just kicked out of the hospital.
Good to have a little breakfast date.
That's right.
So what do I get for breakfast? I get an omelet, a veggie omelet with cheese
Yeah. And some bacon.
and a side of bacon.
Yeah.
It's pretty
And some
impressive.
potatoes.
I'll take it. That's a pretty good date.
Duh.
So for Danny to be kept away while I was sick, while we were still trying to figure out what it was, really at my sickest when I was in the hospital, I couldn't eat or drink, and I was so weak that I needed a chair to get to the bathroom because I couldn't walk there and stand.
I forgot about that, but yeah.
So that wasn't fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy the things that the mind that you just forget about, you know, like almost like as a protection mechanism or something, the hard things, you know. I think to me that felt so similar. And one of the most traumatic experiences of my life is when we were at the hospital in Kootenai, and I would help you go to the bathroom there as well, and then you passed out in my arms in the bathroom and slumped. You know, I kind of struggled to hold you up, and you kind of fell back. Luckily there was a door behind you, but you kind of slammed your head against the wall and crumpled to the ground while I was holding on to you, and your eyes were back in your head, and you know, that was, I was terrified at that time, and then couldn't think straight. You know, I mean, there's a cord in the bathroom that I could have pulled to call the nurses, but I wasn't thinking straight, and I was trying to prop you up against the door while I ran out in the hallway to scream for help, but I was worried you were going to fall to one side or the other, and oh my God, it was, and then the code team rushed in, and your vitals were at almost zero, you know, you coded, and then got rushed up to ICU, and yeah, that was the most, you know, terrifying experience of my life. So then going back to having to help you go to the bathroom again, it was, you know, triggering those memories. And I think, you know, I think that's probably why my brain automatically doesn't remember that, because it was, you know, it's tied to a lot of very difficult emotions. So, interesting. Whew.
So we wanted to put this video out at Thanksgiving because this has been a pretty incredible year. We've come a long way. We've had a lot of help. We've worked really hard. We've faced a lot of challenges, and we're fighting our way back to a great life.
Yeah.
So we're deeply thankful for all the help we've gotten, and just how great life can be. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.